Did you ever know that America has been at war forever, and we're really good at starting wars and fighting wars, but we're not good at ending wars, you know? And I think it has a lot to do with the way the equations to do with war, with cause and effect, you know? Like every leader of America, it's damn well known. If you attack us, we're going to war, straight up, you know? Like the 9/11 thing when the planes hit, you know. I remember that shit, just like a lot of people, you know. But President Bush didn't have a choice in the matter. He had to go to war because that's the laws America follows, and that's really dangerous because if you look at it, we could have been just pulled into that war that lasted, still kind of going on, you know. They say it's over, but still simmering and shit, you know. But we're basically dragged into that war. We didn't have a choice. They're like, hey, let's go to war. And we're like, yeah, okay. You know, sure. Even though we're acting like we're the ones that did it, you know. They attacked us knowing what we would do. They knew what would happen, kind of thing, you know. But that's not the point I'm getting into. It's the ending wars. It's the ending wars, you know. Now, let's start off with, I'll start off with World War II. Nazis, you know. America would have ended the war with the Nazis at any moment if every single one of the leaders would surrender so that we could lock them up in prison and murder them with time or find them guilty and of extreme punishment needs and, you know, hang them or shoot them or just murder them, you know, with death at that moment instead of putting them in the cage and murdering them with time. And that's what we offer our enemies during war. We offer them justice. You want some justice? Oh, and it's not like we're fighting the people, you know. We're fighting when countries are at war, it's the leaders that we're fighting, you know. Just the leaders. That's it, really. The soldiers just do what they do, you know. But anyways, you know, the United States is like, hey, Nazis, surrender. Let's end this war, and one of our terms is we want to throw all of you in prison forever and maybe murder you, you know. And they're like, fuck you, you know. So the war continues, you know. The war continues. And then even when the war was over, you know, Hitler killed himself, you know, because he didn't want to get murdered with time or with death in the legal system, because that's part of ending the war is the legal system, you know. And then we got, you know, the whole 9/11 thing. Oh, the war on terror. We must destroy all the terrorists. And we were not going to talk to them, and we're going to either murder them or capture them until they're gone, you know. Murder them or capture them. We could have ended the war on terror, you know, after 9/11 at any moment. But, you know, all the leaders would have to surrender and get murdered by time with our prison system or with death with our legal system. You know what I mean? And that's basically where the United States is at. And this is a very dangerous thing to have, you know, because if a war really pops off, and it's probably going to happen, because humans are damn near stupid. And we're all humans, you know. But, like, let's say a World War III situation, you know, and we're fighting a war. And the leaders are like, hey, like, let's say this side wants to surrender. The side we're fighting wants to surrender, you know. And we're like, yeah, you guys want to surrender? We're like, yeah. We're like, okay, cool. All you guys that are in charge, you know, you guys, not your soldiers, just you guys that are in charge. You're going to go through the legal system, and we're going to lock you up forever till you die or murder you. That's what's going to happen. And I'm like, oh, shit, you know what? Let's just have our soldiers keep fighting. And then World War III fucking murders all of us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it's, when you end a war, you cannot punish your enemy. I don't give a fuck what they did. You did the same shit. Every side does fucked up shit during wars, you know? Every side does fucked up shit during wars. People are dying. Both sides are doing fucked up shit, you know? And if you must punish your enemy at the end of the war will never fucking end until your enemy dies. Because they will not surrender, because surrender means death, and nobody wants death for themselves. For themselves. Unless you're talking to the leader. But anyways, like this, thank God America is not technically at a war right now. We're just fucking doing stupid shit around the world, you know? Or trying to keep things, I don't know what the fuck's going on, you know? Too many secrets, too many government secrets to know what's going on, you know what I mean? But anyways, like with the Israel-Palestine thing. Well, it's basically Israel-Hamas. And Israel, the leaders are basically Netanyahu and his political group, you know? They're the rulers, basically. Not nobody else, just them, you know? People in charge. And they're like, we want to end this war. And they do. They really do. They want their hostages back, and they want the war to end. But their laws of war is they must murder everybody in Hamas, or everybody in Hamas must surrender so that they can be locked up in the prison system and put through the court system, and maybe they'll get murdered by being hanged or shot or whatever they do for the death penalty there, you know? So basically Netanyahu, because he's in charge, they're all in charge, but he's the voice, you know? So basically Netanyahu's like, hey, Hamas, I'm going to keep dropping bombs all over your people until you surrender. Until you surrender, you know, if you don't surrender, I'm going to keep dropping bombs, you know? So when you want me to stop murdering your families, your extended family members, all of you guys just, you know, walk up with your hands up, and we'll basically make so none of you guys can have kids, and we'll lock you up in a cage until you die, you know? We'll feed you and fuck with you, you know? Because the Israeli prison system is not known for human rights, you know, so you'll get fucked with, you know? That's basically what's going on. So the Netanyahu is not trying to end the conflict and stop the violence and stop the death. He's trying to push the people out, because as we know, you can see through history, as Israel progresses, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank when they're gone, you know, the greater Israel, it's bigger than what Israel is now, and other things are going to happen throughout time. And I have a feeling Netanyahu, because he doesn't have much time left to be alive, you know, I have a feeling Netanyahu wants to expand Israel, you know, of course the Gaza Strip and West Bank, you know, all that stuff, but then further to what the Jewish map to God says belongs to Abraham or Jacob, who became Israel's descendants or whatnot, you know, something like that, you know. He wants to have it and establish it before his death, you know, and that's for that to happen, he needs to basically piss off the countries around him so the war can happen, you know. He's kind of doing that. And then when war breaks out, you know, the United States gets involved, boom, 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 everybody dead, and then boom, right, you know, Greater Israel exists. But then once Greater Israel exists, you know, the map will need to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You see what I'm saying? There's like no end. There's no end, you know? The greed. More land. We need more land. That land's ours, you know? God promised it to us. God promised to... So that's one thing, you know, I don't like about religion is the false beliefs, you know? Because, like, in all honesty, wherever a human is born, that's their homeland. You know? I don't care if it's in a book or not, you know? Like when Britain gifted the Jewish people Israel, you know? And told the Muslim countries that they were in charge of to force out all the Jewish people and force them to Israel. Force them to go to Israel, you know? Like... all the Jewish people were waiting for someone to, you know, earn the name Israel, you know, become a prophet and search for God's laws and earn the name Israel from God so that Israel could exist again, you know. But instead, this placeholder Israel exists, and instead of just waiting, they're trying to expand it before someone's actually earned the name Israel, you know. And think of it like this: when the Jewish tribe left Egypt, left slavery, you know, they left slavery, and they went to the promised land, but they got there and they weren't ready, and God was like, hey, you guys ain't ready, you know? You guys ain't ready. So God threw all those people into the wilderness for 40 years. And at the end of it, every single human was raised and educated by God's creation, by nature, because they were living that life. They were living within nature. They gained God's instinctive education. And then they you know, went and did the Israel thing, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, you had to be educated first, you know? You know what I mean? That wasn't God's punishment, the 40 years in the wilderness. That's God's blessing to the Jewish people by educating them with God's instinctive education that they placed on this planet, you know? And that's something that they gained. But in any case, yeah, you can never end a war, you know? And one of the biggest things I worry about is World War III. Some shit like that could fucking happen. And a war like that will only last a couple minutes with all the nukes that exist, and then it's just all bad. It's all bad. But the thing is, if America ever comes to that situation again, just remember, don't punish your enemies. Don't offer your enemies punishment as part of the bargain. When you're trying to bargain to end the war, don't offer punishment. You gotta have this punishment. If you want to end the war, you gotta have this punishment and live the rest of your life in a cage or get murdered, Don't offer that as part of the agreement to end the war, because the war will never end. It just won't, and many, many, many more people will die just so you can punish somebody. In any case, it may seem like I'm talking out of my ass, and maybe I am because I am schizophrenic, so I may be talking my ass. But I was a Ford observer for 6.5 years before I went schizophrenic and became retired after 6.5 years, So I do know everything about planning battles and how battle planning works, from the propaganda aspect to the blowing shit up aspect to the planning aspect to the how you're gonna end it aspect, I have that education, so I have that shit in my brain, so I'm not totally talking out of my ass, just partially because I am schizophrenic. It's just a factor that exists, but hey, it's cool. I accept it.